Welcome to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Today's show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, please welcome the host of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show.
Welcome back to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. I'm Russell Vannozzi. Here talking high school football once again. We've got 3 teams that have punched their tickets to the BlueCross Bowls. A number of public school teams have an opportunity to do so as well this Friday in the Division I semifinals. So we're going to talk about those games and make picks for those games. We're also going to talk to Christ Presbyterian Academy coach Ingle Martin. His team is going to face Boy Buchanan next Thursday in the Division II-AA BlueCross Bowl. So excited to get to all that with you guys. First, I want to remind everybody this podcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Let's bring in Ingle now, who's going to join us by video. Ingle, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Ingle, familiar territory for your team, back in the BlueCross Bowl again for the 6th straight year. Does that ever lose any luster for you, or is it just as exciting each time you get to go back with a new team?
I think for us, we always focus on the fact that, each team's unique. And so trying to get each team to reach whatever their potential is really the coach's job and our goal. And this year, we felt good about our team. We felt good about our seniors. Got 30 kids that have been in our program for 4 years and have been in the weight room with Coach Epps, working out, getting as big and as fast and as strong as they can be. And really this year, we're excited to be going back to Chattanooga. And I think these kids are hungry to be there and really looking forward to a great game.
I believe you said you're at school now. It looks like you've got some, it's off the screen now, but you've got some wall decorations back there. Is that is that one of your kills back there?
Yeah, I'm in Coach Taylor's office, and one of our coaches, Tim Schmid, needed a place for his goose mount. And so Coach Taylor, being the kind soul that he is, let Coach Schmid throw it up in his office. But it's a nice piece of wall decoration, wall art.
There you go. Only in Tennessee would you see something like that in a football coach's office. But Ingle, this week is Thanksgiving week, and you guys are used to practicing on this week. And then, of course, no games on the Division II side, just with the way the playoff bracket works. How do you guys typically handle this week? Do you have any fun traditions, anything like that to sort of break things up as you're sort of awaiting your next game?
No, we don't have any true traditions. This week having the bye week is just a week really to start introducing the opponent. We are able to get 3 days in. We'll take off Thanksgiving and then Friday and Saturday, and then come back Sunday. With the game being on Thursday, that will be our Monday practice. But I think the thing that the kids look forward to and the coach look forward to the most is all of our moms will come and feed us a big breakfast one day. And they did that Tuesday for us, Tuesday morning. So the kids got to have a huge breakfast before we went out and practiced and watched film. But really, it's just a great opportunity to be together for another week, be thankful, to have that time together, and then have the anticipation of really, what the state championship week holds and what it brings. And all the kids are really excited about that.
So you guys earned that opportunity with a win last week over Franklin Road Academy. And Cruz Law had a memorable night, the 4 touchdown runs, of course, as well as making 10 tackles on defense. You've called him the best player that you've seen this year on the field in any game you've played. Were you glad to see that Cruz got that Mr. Football finalist recognition yesterday?
Yeah, we were. Obviously, Cruz has been working hard. The whole time he's been with us. For 3 years, he's been one of our most consistent players. And he followed his brother's footstep, Cade Law, who led us to a state championship in 2020 as a quarterback. And I think Cruz is really excited about having another week with our kids and in our program. And his next step is going to be join his brother in Chapel Hill. And I think Cruz is ready to play his best game as a CPA Lion next week.
Of course, Cruz has been handling a lot of the goal line work there at running back, and he is an absolute handful to try to tackle, as we saw against Franklin Road Academy. He's up to 13 rushing touchdowns now this year. But you guys have a couple of other players, Rawls Patterson, Joshua Marinick, who handle the bulk of the carries between the 20s. And all three of those guys are averaging over 7 yards an attempt. How valuable is it to have three guys like that you can rely on to get yards basically whenever you need them?
Yeah, well, I think all three of those guys will tell you it starts with, our offensive line. Coach Nichols, our offensive line coach, has done a great job of continuing to develop those kids. They're really playing well as a unit right now. Beginning of the year, we were breaking in a lot of guys who had not played much football, and now they've gotten 13 games behind them, and they're really operating at a high level. And then, to have, again, two of those kids are seniors, Josh and Cruz, running behind them. Josh is one of our strongest and fastest players we've had in our program. Been a kid that anytime his name has been called has done a great job for us. And then Rawls is a sophomore, and Rawls is one of those guys that just loves playing the game. And any chance he's gotten this year, even the first game against Brentwood Academy, scoring the winning touchdown, Rawls has been able to deliver. He's just a really gifted kid, and he's got a great future ahead of him.
You beat me to my next question there, Ingle, on the offensive line. But, of course, you've got Ole Miss commitment John Wayne Oliver as an anchor there at tackle. You said the group kind of came together at the beginning of the season, has improved. Who are some of the other guys that you've really seen step up there on the offensive line this year?
Well, I think Boone Thompson has done an incredible job. Boone's a senior that has really stepped into that leadership role for not only the offensive line, but for the team. Boone's done a great job. And then Brady Smith is a junior, started as a sophomore, pretty much played every snap on offense and defense as a sophomore. This year, we've been able to give him a little bit of a break on defense, but Brady's been playing really well. And then James Walters has come into his own playing tackle for us. Done a really, really good job. I think his biggest asset is going to be just his athleticism. James is one of our better athletes on the football team. And then Hezekiah Lee and Preston Finucane have both played guard, and Preston's played some center for us. But both of those guys are great athletes. Hezzy, as we call him, is a sophomore and has been one of our best practice players since he came last year as a freshman. And he got his opportunity when Preston got dinged up and has really made the most of it. But those guys are really working well. And we talk about blocking in the run game. You always got to add, for us, a tight end in there. And Coach Haywood, who coaches our tight ends and is our offensive coordinator, was talking about that today with me. A kid named Will Carroll. Will started every game for us last year, started every game this year as our Y, which is our kind of inline tight end. And Will is just one of those kids that's really an unsung hero. He's one of the most selfless kids that we've had in our program. Again, a great athlete that could probably be playing a lot of different positions, but Will does his job and does it as well as anybody we've had play that position. And so we are very thankful for those guys. And again, playing up front for us is something that takes time. And those coaches, Coach Haywood and Coach Nichols, have done a great job of having time with those kids and gelling them together, and really excited about watching them play this last game.
So behind that line and those tight ends, you've got quarterback Braden Streeter, a senior, having a really nice year, 1,700 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. Braden can obviously make the throws when you guys need him to, but he's also kept turnovers to a minimum. How important is that to have a quarterback that certainly has talent, but also does a good job of managing the game and kind of keeping things calm there?
Yeah. So Braden, again, we're blessed with a lot of kids that are very selfless. Braden very easily could have a bad attitude right now. We had several passes dropped over the last couple of games where he's made a great throw, and Braden just keeps coming back. Whatever's called on him, he does it, and he does it and executes very well. But if we had been, catching some of those balls that he threw, he'd probably be up around 30 touchdowns this year. And then the other part is his interceptions, like you mentioned. 2 of those were on blown protections where he was getting hit and the ball kind of came out like a tip pass. And so he's done a great job of making decisions. He's done a great job of executing the offense. This year, we've done a couple new things, and he's handled them very well as far as how we get plays called in. And Braden's just a kid that his best football is ahead of him. He's continued to work and get better. And another one that's a great athlete, won a state championship as a lacrosse player in the spring, and looking to do the same thing next week.
We've got to talk about that defense too, only allowing about 10 points per game right now. And it seems like year in, year out, that is the strength of CPA defense. You guys get it done on that side of the ball. What's been the key to being so consistent defensively over the years?
Well, someone else was just asking us about this, and I really think it starts up front with our defensive line. Rocco Abagnero is playing great at our nose position. He's one of our strongest players, big kid, and has really worked really hard to give himself a chance to be a successful football player. And so Rocco is really controlling that center and those guards, depending on what we call. And then Ian McGargy is a senior that's come in, and Ian plays with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. And then Eli Dickey, a sophomore kid that's a great athlete. But all those guys with our defensive line coaches, Coach Harris and Coach Hancock, those kids play hard. And that's, I think, the first part of how our defense is being so effective. When those guys do their job, our linebackers, of course, led by Cruz Law, those guys are able to make plays. Steele Chance is a junior who's just played really, really well, very efficient player. But the two of them are able to go and pursue the ball and make plays. And when that happens, Leroy Harris, who plays kind of our outside linebacker, and Weston Parker, our other outside linebacker, to the field, the two of them are able to go in and make plays when they're there. They can help in the run game. They're physical players, and then they also are athletic enough to affect a pass. And when all those 7 guys are working together, our back end in our secondary is able to have a chance to make some interceptions. And we've done a great job of creating turnovers this year because of the pressure that front 7 puts on the offense. And so when that happens, you got athletes like Jackson Matthews and Andre back there. Gannon Kale played a bunch against FRA last week and is, again, probably one of our highest graded players. And then safety, Josh Jennings and Riley Gregory have been as good as we've had, that tandem. Josh is one of our smartest players. He could probably play any defensive position. And then Riley just shows up at any time there's a play to be made.
So CPA will play Boyd Buchanan next Thursday, November 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern time at Chattanooga's Finley Stadium. That'll be to decide the Division II-AA state title. And Ingle, doesn't matter what happens, how the TSSAA kind of slices up the divisions. You guys have not been able to avoid Gary Rankin and his teams. Of course, had some good battles there when he was at Alcoa in some BlueCross Bowls. You played him last year in the playoffs and his first year at Boyd Buchanan. What can you expect from a Rankin coach team? What characteristics usually stand out about his groups?
Well, it's been fun for our coaching staff. Most of us have been together since that 2013, the first time we played them. And so when we go back and reflect on what it was like, first thing is it's going to be a physical ball game. Anytime we played Coach Rankin at Alcoa or Boyd last year, it's going to be a physical football game. Those kids know how to tackle. They know how to block. And then the other thing is they don't beat themselves. And so they're not going to hand you the game on a silver platter. You're going to have to go take it from them. Obviously, 2013 and 2015, they beat us and did so kind of taking the air out of the ball, running it very effectively. 2014, when we beat them in the state championship, it was 7-0. So you can imagine what kind of game that was, just a really physical defensive battle. And then last year in the playoffs, they came in and, again, took the air out of the ball. Even though they threw it a bunch, they were very effective in how they threw it, and they were able to maintain possession. Defensively, their kids play hard, and they run to the ball and tackle. And so you add up all those elements with a great coaching staff and really good players, it's going to be a fun game next week.
That's right. Should be a fun battle to watch there. Ingle, we appreciate the time. Happy Thanksgiving, and good luck next week.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Russell.
All right, that has been Christ Presbyterian Academy football coach Ingle Martin, kind enough to give some of his time to the show this week, and we appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break now and then come back with some storylines for the fourth round of the playoffs.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with outstanding service. Give Larry a call at 615-452-1500. Macon Bank and Trust Company is a proud supporter of the Gallatin Green Wave. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goals. We are local people with local decision-making and ready to serve you.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. With our world-class physicians, Houston Clinic Orthopedics will have you back enjoying your life in no time. From ortho care to physical therapy and more. Visit our website to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Craving the juiciest, most delicious burgers in Dixon? Look no further. Luke's Burgers and Breakfast has got you covered. Whether you're in the mood for a mouth-watering cheeseburger or a breakfast burrito, we have it all. Our secret? Only the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection every time. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Come on down to Luke's Burgers and Breakfast, where every bite is an experience.
Let's dive into some storylines now. Entering the fourth round of the playoffs, the semifinal round in Division I. Black Friday. It doesn't get a whole lot more exciting than that for high school football in Tennessee. Let's start, though, with the teams that have already clinched BlueCross Bowl berths. These are Division II teams, and there are three of them, like we mentioned at the top of the show. Of course, one of those is CPA, who we just talked about extensively there with Ingle Martin. They are 12-1. Mr. Football finalist Cruz Law, like I said, delivered an just all-around great performance in that 37-16 win over FRA to get the Lions back to Chattanooga. And they won the 2020 BlueCross Bowl over Lipscomb, but then lost in 2021 and 2022 to Lipscomb. So I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to try to get a title here against Boyd Buchanan, and we will see how that one shakes out. And then two other mid-state teams will meet for the Division II Single-A BlueCross Bowl, and those are Friendship Christian at 11-2 and Middle Tennessee Christian at 12-1. And Middle Tennessee Christian, of course, won the regular season meeting 16-14. Back in September, so should be a great ball game there as well. Tyson Walcott, Friendship Christian, having just an unbelievable senior season. He's another Mr. Football finalist now. We've whittled down from the semifinalists to the finalists. He ran for 6 touchdowns last week to set the TSSAA single season record for rushing touchdowns at 52. He'll look to add on to that once they get to Chattanooga. And of course, Friendship Christian is trying to defend its state title from last year when it beat Nashville Christian in that same game. Meanwhile, MTCS making its first trip ever to the BlueCross Bowl, so a huge moment for that program. Running back Eli Wilson has been a big reason why they've enjoyed a lot of success this year. He's up to nearly 2,000 yards and 33 touchdowns after a big performance last week when he had 220 yards and 3 touchdowns in the semifinal round. So those are the Division II BlueCross Bowls. There's also in AAA, McCallie and Baylor there. No Nashville area teams in that final, but should be a great matchup there between a couple of quarterbacks, both committed to Vanderbilt, Jeremy St. Hilaire at McCallie and Whit Muschamp at Baylor. So we're looking forward to that game as well. And then a number of mid-state teams can join CPA, Friendship Christian, and MTCS with wins this week. And in fact, mathematically, as many as 8 more teams from the area can get there. East Robertson is playing York Institute, so one team will be eliminated there from the mid-state. But otherwise, we've got Giles County at Alcoa, Oakland at Bradley Central, Houston at Brentwood, Dyersburg at East Nashville, Upperman at Greenville, Southwind at Page, and Haywood at Pearl Cone. So we'll see how many of those teams are able to get through. We'll make some picks for those games in just a moment in the next segment, but certainly a chance to have a big year in Chattanooga if mid-state teams fare well this Friday in the semifinals. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to FRA running back Ty Clark III. He announced his commitment earlier this week to Wake Forest. had a really nice senior year, 1,800 rushing yards, 31 touchdowns. Also a Mr. Football finalist along with CPA's Cruz Law there in Division II-AA. Clark received a bunch of FCS and Group of 5 offers, but last week, Wake Forest pulled the trigger as his first Power 5 offer, and he's jumped on that opportunity. So really neat to see every year which seniors that maybe aren't on the recruiting radar end up signing with Power 5 teams. Clark is one of those guys this year, and so we congratulate him on that and look forward to seeing who else will sign. Of course, the early period in December will decide a lot of that, and then several more players, Division II level and NAIA levels, will sign in February. So we'll keep you covered there at mainstreetpreps.com. But before we make picks for these games coming up Friday, we're going to take another quick break. So stick around.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome to the GR Group at Cry Like Realtors. Our team is comprised of seasoned veterans, military spouses, and other real estate professionals with strong ties to the military community. We specialize in helping our clients buy and sell homes, as well as providing comprehensive services for commercial and land properties. Whether you're relocating to the area interested in buying or selling a home, or looking for commercial or land properties, the GR Group has the expertise and resources to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact the GR Group today.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Welcome back to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. It's now time to make predictions for some of this week's top games. Last week, I was able to go 9-1. The only game I missed out on was picking Smith County over East Robertson. So sorry there to East Robertson. They were able to prove me wrong and get to the state semifinals for the first time in their program's history. Now looking to keep that going and try to get to the BlueCross Bowl state championship game for the first time ever. But for the season, I'm 103-37. So again, below my standards, but hey, we got back on track last week. Let's see if we can do the same thing this week. And of course, you can find our staff-wide predictions every Wednesday afternoon at mainstreetpreps.com. There you'll be able to see a wide cross-section of what everybody thinks is going to happen in these games. I've picked out 5 from this week that I'd like to highlight and talk about here. So let's start out with what we've deemed as the Main Street Preps game of the week, Southwind at Page. That's going to be Friday at 7 p.m. The Patriots can advance to their 3rd straight BlueCross Bowl with a win, but that's not going to come easy. Southwind is having an incredible season. They are 13-0, averaging more than 43 points per game. So a tough task there for Page, but if any team can handle a high-flying offense like that, it's certainly Page, which has one of the best defenses in the area, just giving up 12 points a game, and led by a Mr. Football finalist in Eric Hazard, who can get to the quarterback, cause havoc in the backfield. Of course, linebacker Brendan Anes as well makes up probably the best linebacking duo in the area. So all that said, I'm giving this one to Page, 20-7 over Southwind. Oakland at Bradley Central. And man, how about Oakland? A 56-0 win at Riverdale in the state semifinals after Riverdale had beaten them in the regular season by 1 point on a last-second touchdown and 2-point conversion pass. The Patriots took out some frustration in that one, and man, you have to wonder moving forward. It's difficult to bet against Coach Kevin Creasy and his players there. Of course, the 3 straight now Class 6A state titles under their belt. Looking for a 4th straight here. And they've got running backs DeJuan Morris and Ashton Jones to rely on. Those guys have combined for 43 rushing touchdowns. And at this point, I'm not sure how you can slow those guys down when they're both on their game. Bradley Central, though, does counter with Tennessee commitment Boo Carter at running back. He's having a great year. Another Mr. Football finalist there in that classification. So should be a great game. This could go either way. It is at Bradley Central, which we'll see how Oakland handles that long road trip. But they've done that before, going to Maryville and winning in the semifinals. So I've got to give this one to Oakland. Just cannot pick against them after what they did to Riverdale last week. So Oakland 27, Bradley Central 21 is my prediction there. Houston at Brentwood is that up next, and this one is a toss-up. Brentwood is still unbeaten at 13-0, but they've had a couple of close calls, especially in the first half of games here in the playoffs. And if the Bruins can pull this one out, it's going to be on the back of their defense and quarterback Baylor Hayes connecting with playmakers like Clayton Merrill, Matthew Manning. Houston is going to be a tough out, though, and we'll see how they're able to handle them. But for now, I've got Brentwood 24, Houston 21. Dyersburg at East Nashville. Like Page, East Nashville is looking to go back to Chattanooga for the 3rd straight year after falling short in those championship games both times. And the Eagles just have not skipped a beat under first-year head coach Damian Harris, who came over from Pearl Cone and has done a nice job there, keeping up a high standard of play for the Eagles. And look for their defense to have another good game. They've got running backs Kalen Anderson and Keith Johnson to rely on as well. And they've handled Dyersburg in the playoffs before a couple of years ago. So I'm going to go East Nashville again in 31-20 over Dyersburg. And lastly, we've got Haywood at Pearl Cone. I'm planning to cover this game. Should be a great atmosphere there with fish sandwiches, the artificial turf there at Pearl Cone. Always a great crowd. And looking forward to that one for sure. And there's only one school in Tennessee that had 2 Mr. Football finalists, and that's Pearl Cone, with running back / linebacker Zion Simpson-Smith and quarterback Keyshawn Tarleton. They may have even been able to have a 3rd with how much talent they have on their team. It really just speaks to the kind of year that they've had. Firebirds, of course, are 13-0 and can put up points. They can stop good offenses. They've kind of shown it all, even against a schedule in the regular season that maybe was not as tough down the stretch as some other teams. But Haywood was a tough matchup for Pearl Cone in last year's semifinals. It was a great game that I believe I caught it on the NFHS network, and it was just one of those crazy back and forth games. Had kind of a controversial ending there. And but Haywood has changed a lot since then. They've got a new coach, Josh Puckett, who's doing a nice job, but they've also got a new quarterback as well after Cordero Walker transferred to Germantown. So I'm interested to see just how strong Haywood might be this year. They are having a nice season at 11-2, but I'm not sure they're going to stop the juggernaut that is Pearl Cone. So I've got the Firebirds taking this one 41-30. We will have coverage of all these games at mainstreetpreps.com. Still going strong here for the end of football season. We'll have a full team out at the Blue Cross Bowls next week as well. And we'll be back next week for one final Main Street Preps High School football preview show leading into the Blue Cross Bowls. So looking forward to that. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, and we'll see you next week.
You have been watching the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest news about high school football. The Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.